United States right now, there is approximately 310,000 laboratory professionals employed. There are 2.9 million nurses employed, and there are 1.2 million doctors.
We are medical laboratory science professionals, often called medical laboratorians.
We are vital healthcare detectives uncovering and providing laboratory information from laboratory analysis that assists physicians in patient diagnosis and treatment, as well as in disease monitoring and prevention.
We use sophisticated biomedical instrumentation and technology, computers, and methods requiring manual dexterity to perform laboratory testing on blood and body fluids.
Laboratory testing encompasses disciplines like clinical chemistry, hematology, immunology, immunohematology, microbiology, molecular biology, and so much more.
Medical laboratory science professionals generate accurate laboratory data that are needed to aid in detecting cancer, heart attacks, diabetes, infectious mononucleosis, and identification of bacteria or viruses, just like COVID-19, that cause infections, as well as in detecting drugs of abuse.
In addition, we monitor testing quality and consult with other members of the healthcare team.
The medical laboratory science profession and medical laboratory scientists typically complete a bachelor's degree, including months of full-time clinical rotation.
Once all of this is completed, we are now eligible to sit for our certification exam with ASCP.
Not only do we perform laboratory procedures including very sophisticated analyses, but we also evaluate and interpret the results, integrate data, problem solve, consult, conduct research, and develop new test methods.
Think about any sample that has ever been taken from your body. A medical laboratory scientist was testing it.
Who created that test to identify what the physician is looking for? Typically, it is the laboratory scientist.
What happens when a specimen is collected incorrectly, resulting in a false result and missed diagnosis?
It is a laboratory scientist that is interpreting the result as being inaccurate and requesting a recollect to verify, prior to releasing a result that could impact treatment.
What happens when a doctor or nurse doesn't know what test is appropriate to order?
Typically is the lab scientist advising or fixing an incorrect test ordered so that the right one can be conducted.
What happens when a team of 4 to 5 doctors on a patient's case all order the same test without communicating with each other? Do you think insurance will cover the duplicate testing?
Nope. It's someone in the lab catching the error and deleting the duplicate test so the patient is not charged.
Medical laboratory science is a medical field that is always forgotten.
You never hear people talk about MLS compared to doctors, nurses, radiologists, pharmacists, respiratory therapists, etc.
However, we are a vital part of that team.
Honestly, what would happen if all the medical laboratory scientists were unable to work?
How would you know if someone is having a heart attack when the EKG is inconclusive?
When your doctor calls to let you know that you have low thyroid functioning, there was an MLS behind an analyzer and a graph who made the initial call that your tests did not fit the standard ranges.
Who catches the cancer diagnosis?
When you go to your doctor and are diagnosed with chronic lymphoid leukemia, there was an MLS behind a microscope who noticed irregular cells in your blood. How do you know the ventilator someone's on is effective without a blood gas test?
How do you know what bacteria infection someone has and what antibiotic it is resistant to?
When an RN hangs antibiotics for a severe urinary tract infection, there was an MLS behind a media plate who determined which bacteria was responsible and which antibiotics would be most useful for your treatment.
People in this profession determine the normal ranges for thousands of tests, the specimen requirements, and ensure that all analyzers are operating at perfect levels to ensure that all results are accurate every single day.
How do you get your testing to ensure the blood transfusion you may need is safe? The list goes on.
Design new procedures for testing and learn how to master dozens of different software programs for every piece of instrumentation and test that is performed.
Our work is both automated and largely manual.
And in the midst of everything we are responsible for, we also understand what the test results mean for your health and call the people who will be directly responsible for your diagnosis.
We are more than just the testers of COVID-19.
We discover unknowns.
We have been here in the background all the time.
We are medical laboratory scientists.